Hello, everybody, and welcome to the CCA Circuit Finals pre-show. I am DRF, joined by Mizuno and Neptune, and we are here to break down all the things going on in the CCA Circuit Finals, what you can expect, and all the fun stuff that's going to happen. And let's talk to some pick'ems too. So first things first, let's kind of just talk about how on earth we got here. So,
That's quite the journey.
and what on earth we get to expect today. So, 5 qualifiers have been played over the course of 3 months now, and it has all culminated in 64 teams. 16 teams from divisions 1, 2, 3, and 4 are going to be battling it out in a 2-day format. To determine who is the division champion of this semester. 150 teams have joined us this semester, and we are now down to a field of 64 across those 4 divisions. Mizuno, it's been absolutely crazy, and it is about to get even crazier with everything we have cooked up for today's finals.
No kidding. Folks, this is the most cooking in the kitchen. Like, the stove is on fire. Oh, fire alarms are ringing. But we think that we are going to bring the most wildest shows for you today. And if you have not been following us on social media, you should be. But we have been trying to blast the word. We are running 4 different streams across all 4 divisions for the circuit finals weekend across both days, Saturday and Sunday. This is something unheard of in the CCA collegiate scene, right? This is probably the biggest production show that we have put on yet. And we have so many exciting things cooked up for you all. These 4 streams, we have 32 amazing commentators that are coming in to help broadcast these next couple days. And we're so honored to have them on board, on top of our wonderful producers who are going to come in and run this whole spectacle for us. So it's really important that you all tune in. Extremely important. We'll be having the CCA Division 1 stream here on CCA Twitch main stream. You're going to see Division 2 over on Splatoon Tourney. Splatoon's Tourney secondary stream, which is Splatoon Tourney 1, will host Division 3. And then our CCA YouTube channel will be streaming our Division 4 finals. So, lots to cook up here. And Neptune, I know you've been really heavily involved in the production process here. Maybe you could share a little bit about how excited you are and a bit about just all the things that we've been cooking.
Okay, excitement levels over 1,000%, because I think this is the biggest production project that I have been involved in, as well as seeing for the Splatoon scene as well. 4 different streams, 4 different divisions, and just all these teams are going to be playing simultaneously. And I think this is going to be really interesting to watch, especially since we have so many guest commentators that are known throughout the scene, and they are ready to rock and roll. And that's the part that excites me the most, that just everyone on the production team, both the commentators and the producers, are going to be working together to bring that to you live here today.
Man, that's awesome.
I just can't believe we got 32 commentators. Like,
me too.
Like, it is, because honestly, during the qualifiers, we struggled to get 8 for given qualifiers at times to run 2 streams. We pulled it off. For every single qualifier. But that's why I think immediately started having that conversation up to like, hey, what if we went big for the finals? How can we cover all 4 streams? What if we did 32 commentators? And I don't know if you were like me and was kind of thinking there's no way we're actually gonna be able to do this. Hey, but we did it. We freaking did it. Like, yeah, that is awesome.
Pat yourselves on the back.
Okay, sure.
That's what Grace would tell us right now. She would pat us on the back, calling back to one of those qualifiers.
Good old
and we would have invited Grace to commentate, but she's going to be playing today, so...
Exactly, right.
Yeah, for sure. We basically were just expecting 50% turnout, honestly. I think we're like, okay, maybe we have like an initial list of commentators. We expect only maybe 50% to say yes, and then like I'm over here putting on my CCA cap, sending friend requests in Discord, being like, hey, want to commentate for this thing? Because we're asking very far in advance, and I am begging on my hands and knees, please commentate for this, and then we managed to do it here. That's just a short story of how I got some people on board.
No, that's awesome. Well, dear, I think this would be a really good time to talk about what the finals looks like format wise. I think that would help a lot of folks kind of get grounded to what they would like to expect for today.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually, let me see if I could get the graphic in here real quick.
Ooh,
No,
graphic.
no
Yay.
promises. Give me 1 second to see if it is very closely available. But yes, we are going to be running a 2-day format. Day 1, it's going to be the 4 divisions, 16 teams in each division, playing in a modified Swiss format. That is going to essentially be only the essential matches that are going to get played. As I am frantically trying to pull this up, which I think I do have it. Yes, here.
We are running a show, you guys. This is
Oh yeah, no,
high quality production you can expect from us.
Exactly. So, of course, this graphic is way too big. So, how
Listen,
big did
it's too much
Omazen-
to consume.
Yeah, how
It's too
big
much
did
to consume.
Omazen make this graphic? I mean,
Big enough to fit all the
quality.
CCA staff parts. That's my.
Oma Goat-san, remember, he said, go big or go home. That's what he said, and he
Ooh.
clicked enter.
All right, so there we go. I think I have this now. So I'm gonna transition us over here. Okay, and here is the visual for the circuit finals day 1 modified Swiss. As you can see, it is only the essential matches. All teams obviously going to be starting 0-0, and it's just going to be Swiss as you know it. Your teams will progress. They'll go 1-0. They'll play other 1-0 teams. Same for the 0-1 teams, and so on and so forth. It starts to get interesting though once you hit round 3. Round 1, round 2 are best of 3 matches. Starting in round 3, we're going to start to see the opportunity for teams to qualify for day 2, but also become eliminated. So every team is guaranteed at least 3 matches coming into these circuit finals. And the way that you advance to day 2 is by winning 3 games, and the way you get eliminated from day 1 is by losing 3 sets. So, as you can see here, 2 teams that are 2-0, or I guess there'll be 4 teams that are 2-0, 2 matches will play, and 2 teams will win. They will become 3-0 and advance to day 2. Similarly, at the bottom of the bracket, there's going to be 4 teams that will be 0-2, and they will all play each other. The losers have lost their 3rd set and will be eliminated from the circuit finals. So this heavily increases the stakes because we are only playing the essential matches. Once you hit that 2-0 or 0-2 mark, or 2-1, 1-2, whatever it is, you know what's at stake in the match that you are playing. It is a chance to move on to day 2, or it's a chance to save your butt and keep going in day 1 for another opportunity to hopefully get to maybe that 2-2 mark and try to qualify. So it is gonna be a lot of fun. I love this format so much. Vapor and I know have been trying to push this on you guys for literally like months leading up to the circuit.
No, for sure. I love the idea of this because, like, okay, well, the teams that are certainly the strongest get to get out really quickly if they 3-0. However, I think that what's going to be the most interesting matches to see are when you're going to be coming down to the wire here. The 2-2 situation, right? At the very far end right there. Oh, who's going to get in? Who's going to get out? It's just an opportunity for teams to really create storylines and make interesting matches happen. And the production team is going to be all over this bracket, trying to cover the most interesting matches and bring it to you all live.
It's going to be crazy. And I think the call out to the fact that the stakes increase with each round, you're going from the first couple rounds being best of 3 to the last 3 being best of 5 matches. So if you're sitting at that 1-2 match heading into it, you gotta win a best of 5. That means 3 games that you have to clinch. That further elevates the tension and stakes at hand for you to remain and play on, right? So it's going to be so much fun to watch. Like, you want to stay tuned in. You need to have your butt sat for the entire day. Like, you need to, like, strap down. It is, oh my god, it's going to be so exciting.
I am so excited for this format. And in day 2, those that do advance will be playing in a double elimination final. So 16 teams enter day 1, only 8 will move on to day 2. So with that said, the stakes just increase every single round as the pressure is going to balloon, like, just across these 2 days until we finally get to those grand finals, possibly a bracket reset in day 2. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I am so excited. But at the end of the day, the name of the game is win 3 sets out of the 5 to move on. Well,
play those games. Win those games.
Exactly. Just win. Simple as that.
Just win.
Just
win the game. It's not that hard.
Yeah. Well, with that said, Neptune, there's been some other stuff we've been cooking up, thanks to a good friend of ours, Soap. Why don't we talk about the pick'ems?
Oh boy, I was up last night, right, talking with you and Jerian about this, right, and I was just like blown away. As someone whose main job, like day-to-day work, 9 to 5, is looking at front-end stuff and designing stuff, I was extremely impressed, right? It's so clean, it's so good looking, right, and this website just was wired up together by Soap. It was just amazing, right? You're able to just put up your favorite teams, who's going to make it through, some other various questions, and I just think it just leads to a lot of like it's just going to create competition internally, and just like, this is the fantasy that I imagined to be reality, and it's actually here.
Oh yeah, like this, honestly, when Soap came to us with the idea of, hey, we have this pick'ems thing going on, I was immediately sold, because I do not watch League of Legends, but Worlds is the exception, and pick'ems is probably one of the most exciting parts about that, because you get to, this is not an endorsement, but who doesn't love gambling virtual points?
As someone who has multiple teammates that are into gambling, they are extremely interested when the priority of this came up, and you can bet your points and see how far you can go on the leaderboard.
Oh my gosh, and I had so much fun filling out my picks. It was very exciting. Like, I got to do my research, I got to think about things, I got to get familiar with the teams again, and I simply Soap did such a wonderful job. Truly. Huge thank you to them for being able to put this together, and also keeping in mind the kind of, the collegiate Splatoon aesthetic and vibe that, we would expect from what a collegiate pick'ems could look like. So he did such a fantastic job. Thank you so much, Soap. You're the best.
Thank you so much.
Well, with that said, why don't we, if I can pull this up, why don't we talk through some of the picks that we have kind of made to kick things off? So let me actually, Neptune, why don't we start with yours, if I could just find your pick'ems.
Well, I got mine. Okay, you got it? Sweet, alright. What was it? Where should we start here? Should we start with Division 1?
I think, yeah, let's just start from the top and talk about some of the teams that we are going to be watching out for coming into this day one.
Alright, so I'm obviously the most biased staff member of all time here, because I do play with big fat sea cows outside of CCA, so they're obviously going to be my number 1 pick. I can give you guys a little bit more insight. We do have Wyatt back. He's been only around, I think, for one of the qualifiers, and he's the main guy for the Slayer of Sea Cows, and he is up and running, so I'm putting all my bets and money on him, and I'm going to cry if he just comes up short.
Fair enough.
The other ones obviously are like some other CCA favorites here. UCSD Esports Gold. I'm a big fan of them, just watching them. It's always fun watching them on stream, and like, I always see them as the stream team, right? If they are on stream, it's going to be an interesting set, whether it's in CCA or outside of CCA. I was watching some low-rank games from them as well, and I was just constantly cheering at like the top of my lungs. Well, as long as you can cheer in Twitch chat with all caps without getting banned there. But yeah, it's just always really interesting just to see them play. Old Bay Brigade, they've just consistent staple Division 1, really strong team. Just that's the main reason for that. And then Long Beach Gold, that is the big underdog pick for me.
Good choices.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess since we're just on your page, we could just quickly, talk through just a couple of the other standouts in those other divisions for you, and then we'll kind of hop around to some of our other picks.
Yeah, sure. I'll just quickly go through these because I know time is of the essence, and we are gonna have to get a big show started at 1 p.m. But let's see. Surging Sea, I expect to be a pretty big threat. They have a roller Tentabrella comp. I did the spotlight for this, and I'm just like thinking, well, if there's weapons that would have wedding rings next to each other, right? It's going to be Surging Sea's comp right there. Roller and Tenebrella just work really well together, so that's going to be my number one pick. And let's see here for Division 3. I have Goomies on there because obviously got to represent VCU, and I got convinced really quickly just the way someone mistyped Goomies. You can understand Ennis there. I'm not going to say exactly how, but that was the only reason why I decided to put them here. And then Div 4 Shadow Warriors. I love the Xbox Live gamer tag name and just a big fan of VCU in general. So there we go. That's it for me.
Okay, yeah, that honestly a lot of really good picks, and then as we all know, there's a lot of other stuff going on in these pick'ems as well. If you have not participated in the pick'ems yet, I believe
they're still up in
mine. I believe you have 30 minutes. So go log in like now to picks.soapful.inc. We will throw this in the chat.
I will do that real quick.
Thank you, Neptune. And go submit your pick'ems now. Click randomly if you have to, but there is a lot of really good content here for you to sort of be able to go through and pick. Mizuno, let's go ahead and hop over to your picks and let's talk about some of the teams that you are most excited about to see.
For sure. All right, I'm gonna first call out a couple in Division 1. UCSD Esports Gold, biased there slightly, but this is a long-standing team with great history, and their roster is continuously so strong. So I have a lot of faith that they'll make it through day 1 pretty quickly. Another team that I like to call out would be Old Bay Brigade and Drexel Dragon Splatoon. Old Bay Brigade has done really well these past 2 qualifiers as a whole, so I believe that they're a very consistent performer. And the same story will kind of go along with Drexel Dragons, especially after taking the time on the podcast to speak to them. I have a lot of faith and confidence that they'll make it to day 2. Some other teams to call out, I'm really big fans of Tosin and Crab and Go. Crab and Go, they had a really nice breakout performance back in qualifier 2 that really helped them stand out, and I think they kind of proved themselves here. And Tosin has been a very just consistent, persistent team all throughout the qualifiers, and I think those are pretty nice shoo-ins for day 2. Goomies again are a pretty big favorite, but I also like to call out Titans of Alterna Blue and the Table Turb Troop. Really strong teams. Titans of Alterna Blue have been around the block for quite some time. I think they'll do just fine in day 1 of the circuit finals. And last but not least, I have some more VCU bias here. I just kind of realized that. I keep forgetting that Shadow Warriors are from VCU, but they are a very strong team, and I would not be surprised if they come out of this with a 2-1 or 3-0, a 3-1 record or a 3-0 record out of day 1. I think those are pretty much my picks.
Yeah, it's crazy, like looking at your picks, that there's a real possibility that VCU can win 3 different divisions, which is unprecedented in the CCA league. We've never had 2 schools win separate divisions in the same season. So that is something to definitely watch out for, because we have Goomies as a number 1 seed and Shadow Warriors as a number 1 seed in Division 3 and 4, both out of VCU. And then, of course, the Big Fat Sea Cows, they might be in the number 4 seed, but they are definitely coming into this as top 2 or 3 favorites. So that's going to be really interesting to see there.
Hey, Giraffe, what are your picks?
Thank you for asking.
I was going to ask.
Well, honestly, in Division 1, I think that there are basically 5 teams that are kind of sitting in their own sphere. And that is the 4 teams I have here: UCSD Sports Gold, VCU, Big Fat Sea Cows, the UCF Knights, PSU Blue, and Old Bay Brigade. Obviously, we're only allowed to choose 4 teams here. And this is just confidence in teams moving on to day 2. This isn't necessarily who's going to win this division. So looking at it here, these are the 4 teams that if you don't have them down, I think you're absolutely crazy. These are the 4 teams that are absolute locks to make it into day 2. Old Bay Brigade, they could have a little bit of inconsistency. I'm excited to see them play today. And I think however they play today, if they can make it to day 2, they are going to be a force to be reckoned with. But of course, there's a little bit of inconsistency there. But hey, when Old Bay Brigade is playing at their best, they can beat every single one of these teams. So that's going to be something to watch out for. Down in Division 2. Division 2 is probably my favorite div to watch out for this weekend. This is the Chaos Division. There are about 7 teams that I think are going to be in contention to win this whole thing. And obviously 8 teams are going to be moving on to day 2. Some of them are going to end up playing each other, so it's not even a guarantee. So I think look at those top 6 seeds plus Surging C. Those are all going to be teams to watch out for to make it to day 2. But my picks here, EAUCD Splatoon White is the team that I'm going to be watching out for in particular. They have been improving in those last few qualifiers, along with Octos and Squids United Scarlet. And I think this circuit finals are going to favor teams that are reaching their peak now, as opposed to teams that won early on, like Crab and Go, like Egg Spaghetti. So be on the lookout for Splatoon White and Ohio State's Scarlet team. And then down in Division 3, Champlain Seafoam. I don't know how you guys have not talked about Champlain Seafoam. Like, these guys are so good. They are the number 2 seed for a reason. They have just been consistently improving every single qualifier. So Champlain Seafoam, lock them into day 2. And I'm looking towards Yukon maybe over the Goomies, but I think, again, I'm with you guys. Goomies and Shadow Warriors down in Div 4. Absolute locks for day 2. But as I'm looking towards those Div 3 and Div 4, I'm liking Yukon, the Llamas, and Drexel. Those are the teams that I'm personally leaning towards. But hey, you know, you can never knock a VCU team. So I completely understand where you guys are coming from.
I personally can knock all the VCU teams down, but today is the opposite day for me. You know, I gotta represent them, even though I didn't go to their school. But regardless, those are some amazing picks there, DRF.
Thank you. So it is gonna be exciting. You know, you play for the points in these pick'ems. So you pick the teams that you are confident in moving on to day 2, not necessarily the teams that are gonna win it all. But because when I think when the day 2 pick'ems release, which, reminder, after day 1, the day 2 pick'ems will open once the results are all submitted. So come back tonight to your pick'ems website and do day 2, because there's going to be more questions unlocked for you.
Isn't that just so cool? Like, that's just wickedly cool, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, it just continues on, right? You've watched the teams in day 1 fight it out, you know, blood, sweat, and tears, and then you get to kind of be like, all right, what do I bet on for day 2? What is going to happen? I mean, Soap did just such a good job. I'm so excited. I don't even know what the day 2 questions are. I don't even know,
to be honest. I assume there's gonna be questions of pick who's gonna win the whole thing, and then I'm sure there's a billion different like stats questions and fun things going on here as well. So definitely, I'm sure we'll get more of this in some capacity. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I am so excited. The Pickups is one of the most fun things that I think we have had the privilege of bringing into the fold and to engage the community. We've had over 100 people sign up for Pick'ems.
So cool.
I think that has exceeded our fantasy numbers from previous seasons, I think. But I'd have to double check with Snow on that.
Yeah, no, this is huge. Just like having over 100 people just fighting it out and just basically gotcha wars, but it's CCA. I think this is beautiful. This is Gotcha Wars CCA edition.
Oh, that is great. I love that analogy. Well, we are 20 minutes away from the start of the circuit finals. There is just so much that is going to be going on today. So many teams to get excited about. I mean, Mizuno, Neptune, I'll give you all the opportunity. Any other teams that, might not be necessarily in the top 4 that you've chosen in your respective divisions, but any other teams that you think you want to shout out real quick as, hey, this team is going to be making some runs here, and someone to possibly watch out for as maybe a dark horse.
Ooh, I think I'm gonna mention Arc Haley.
Okay.
That is a sleeper hit. For folks who don't remember, they are from Texas Dallas. They were the Q1 winner all the way back, way back in like September, October, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about, right? But I think with the few qualifiers that they played, I think they are a really strong contender in Division 1. And then I'm also going to call out maybe a wild card pick, GMU Patriots. I feel like they are a sleeper hit, personally. But I mean, I feel like a lot of these wildcard teams are sleeper hits and are going to cause some chaos, like a Division 2 Surging C I believe they're from Greensboro, if you could clock me real quick. Yep, Greensboro. CSU Long Beach Black, they also are a very strong team in Division 2 from Long Beach. Maybe another wild card pick, Turnpike. I think Neptune, did you have Turnpike for...
I think I did. I forget why. I'll be honest.
But Turnpike also another nice wild card pick. I know, Dear, if you had UConn, so those are some really great teams. And I think I'm also going to call out Push Purdue. I'm going to show my bias rep here, squeezing in as a wild card pick for Division 4. I think they'll take some really cool games during this finals day 1. Neptune, any other picks?
I think you covered all of my picks, Mizuno, so that's it for me.
Honestly, I was gonna say the same. Like, Mizuno's kind of shouting out all the ones that we had a really deep discussion about yesterday. Because Neptune, I know, like you mentioned earlier, you and I were talking with Jiraiya, and Jiraiya was like, "What do I pick, guys?" And we kind of broke down all of the different teams. GMU was one of the teams that I had talked about. I said, GMU is going to be a threat to win this. Yes, they are a wild card team, but if we're looking at teams with very high ceilings, GMU is up there. GMU, despite being a wildcard team, in my opinion, is a top 8 team. And if they are firing on all cylinders today, they're going to make it to day 2. And even in day 2, they're going to pull off a couple of upsets. So they finished in second place back in qualifier 4, I believe it was. It was either qualifier 3 or 4. I can't quite remember. I think, no, it was 3. It was definitely 3. But they're going to be someone to watch out for. Even as we look towards some of the lower divisions, PSU Fish, they're a team that starts slow, but they always get better the longer these tournaments run. So they always, every single qualifier, they like barely make it in from the Swiss stage into top cut, and then they go on like a top 4 run. So I think if PSU Fish can find a way to just win one of the first 2 sets early on, I think they're going to be on a trajectory to make it to that 2-2 match. I think no matter what happens, PSU Fish is playing in that 2-2 match today. And if they can make it to day 2, I think we're going to be in for a fun ride come Sunday. So that's another team that I think is going to be super exciting to watch. And then I just need to shout out the Holy Snail real quick.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Like, they have one of my favorite logos. It's a stupid Photoshop, but it is awesome. I am a Holy Snail believer. Bring me to church, Holy Snail, because I mean, mass is in session, and I am believing you all weekend long. Come on, Holy Snail, let's do this.
Jeff, you need to start praying.
I do. I need to pray to the Snail Pope. And we'll see if the Lord has some miracles this weekend. But not that they need any miracles. I think they're gonna be a strong team.
Listen, if they can work magic with Photoshop, I'm sure they can work magic in Splatoon. Okay.
That's a good way to put it, Neptune.
Well, nonetheless, I think we are in for an absolute show. So let's go ahead. We have 15 minutes until day 1 of the CCA Circuit Finals kicks off. Neptune, Mizuno, we have some work to do, so let's go ahead and get back to the staff calls and get things set up. The CCA Circuit Finals are kicking off real soon. You guys are not going to want to miss this.